Now let's talk about before, during, and after a test. Before a test, first figure out when you need to start studying. Is your test over 2 sections? Is it over 2 chapters? Is it over 8 sections? How much can you break it down so that you just have to study a little bit every day in an amount that's reasonable? And don't wait till the night before the test. If you back it up, you have a much better chance of really understanding what you need. Also, it would be great if you could aim to be ready the day before a test, so you have an extra day to ask questions or review everything, but I know that one's kind of hard. Step 2, practice, practice, practice. If you're going to be doing math on a test, you should be doing math when you're studying. Consider making a randomized practice test from your notes, from the homework. Ask the teacher if you can get a copy of an old test. Try timing yourself. Put everything away and give yourself 30 minutes and see how long you can take to finish the test. And third, consider different ways that the same problem could be asked. For example, if you're given 2 points, you could be asked, find the slope of these 2 points. Or you could be given 2 points and asked to find the equation of the line through those 2 points. Or the equation of the line that's perpendicular to those 2 points. So just seeing a question a certain way doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be asked on your test. What about during a test? Before you look at any questions, write down what you need to remember. Maybe there's a formula you need to remember, or tell yourself, to put no negative exponents in your answer. But if you don't do this right away, the minute you start to look at questions, you'll suddenly start to get confused, like, oh, wait, I didn't study for that problem. Wait, what was it I was going to write down? Whether this test is on paper or on a computer, you should have somewhere where you're able to write down those last minute things you need to remember. Read the directions. I know that one sounds like no duh, but did the question ask you to find the equation of a line or the slope of a line? Often I find students just solve the problem the way they saw it in the homework, but that's not the way I asked it on the test. Plan your time based on the point value and determining which problems are easiest. I always suggest starting with the easiest ones if you can to help build confidence. But if you're going to leave those high point value problems for the end, be sure you're watching the time. And starting with the easiest problems, that might help you stay calm. Okay, well, as calm as it's possible for you to stay. I've had a couple tests in the past where I've had to tell myself, okay, I'm not going to freak out. I'm going to fail this test. I've accepted it, but I am going to get 2 problems right, and that's going to make me feel not like a failure for this test. So I do 2 problems. No, I have a half hour left. Okay, fine, I'll do 2 more problems. Okay, well, that wasn't so bad. Let me see if I can do 2 more problems. And it's about finding a strategy, being it deep breathing, visualization, or whatever you need to get through that test. Also, I suggest waiting till the end to check your answers once you've completed everything. It's easy, if you check your answers in the beginning, to get hung up on trying to correct a wrong problem that might only earn you 1 more point, and you run out of time to do the last 4 problems that could have been worth quite a few points. What about after a test? This is your time to reflect. First of all, I suggest checking that the point value is added up correctly. Is the total what you calculate? If not, politely ask your professor to check it. But here's something else. Code your work. Once you've gotten your test back, maybe write an R next to all the problems that you had right and got full credit. An M next to problems that were mostly right, almost full credit, but just had a minor error, like a sign error or a negative exponent. D, put that next to the problems that you didn't even know how to solve or didn't even try. C, confused with a different problem. Maybe that's one of those didn't read the direction problems. Or T, ran out of time. I don't know if I could have done it or not. I didn't even get to look at it. Then you add up how many of each letter you have, and you start to see some patterns like, wow, I have a lot of C's and a lot of R's. So I did do pretty well on the test. I got a lot right. But the ones I got wrong, it wasn't because I didn't know how to do them. I was just doing the wrong problem. And there's one more thing we need to talk about when it comes to tests, and that's academic integrity. In this remote online instruction environment, I get it's tempting and easy sometimes to cheat. But here's some other things to consider when you're tempted to cheat on a test. If you studied, you actually don't need to cheat. It would be a bummer to suddenly get caught for cheating on one problem when you actually knew all of the test. Get one wrong if you have to. It's okay. Also, the consequences may be more than just a 0 on that test. Maybe your teacher says you get a 0 in the class. Maybe you get turned into the academic integrity dean, and now you have a record that's following you. Also, it's okay to fail a test. It doesn't feel great, it's not exciting or anything you want to share with people, but it doesn't make you a failure. Consider it a learning experience. Okay, here's what I knew, here's what I didn't know. Okay, I didn't study these. Ooh, I studied these, but obviously I wasn't looking at the way the question could be asked. Whatever it is that you need to figure out. And also, maybe your professor drops a test, in which case failing this test and not being accused of cheating is worth it in the long run.